Warm Days of Death, welcome for Mr. Corey Taylor.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, you're starting with that. Okay. Well, it was good to see you guys. And that's it.
All right. So what we're going to do then is I'm going to talk to Corey for a little bit, ask a few questions because there's some things that I absolutely have to know myself. And then we're going to turn it over to some fans' questions. When we do that, I'm going to have you guys raise your hand. Sam's going to come out. He's going to give you the mic so you can ask the question. And then we're going to just kind of go from this area to this area to this area, and we'll try to get everybody covered. So the first thing I've got to know, man, is how in the hell did you find 9 people to show up at band practice all the time?
You assume that we made it on time. Yeah, I mean, the only reason I was on time is because I lived down the street from Sean's house, man. Half the time, these guys would be showing up like an hour late. Paul would show up an hour late, and then we couldn't start because he had to boil his bass strings just to keep them nice. We could afford new strings, so we fucking boiled our guitar strings just to keep them fresh. So yeah, I mean, it was a nightmare. Plus, most of us worked nights, so we would sleep right up until practice. So we'd all just be crotchety, sitting on Clown's front porch, just staring at each other. Like, just like, I don't want to fucking do this. This is fucking Jesus Christ. And then we get down and we just scream at each other, and then we'd be like, that was the shit. So
that's where all the animosity came.
Well, we'll go with that.
It was Iowa, there was not much else to do.
Yeah, I mean, I welcome you to live a year in Des Moines and not come out as pissed off as Slipknot was when you first put that album out.
All right, so let me ask this, man. In all of your travels and all of your tours, do you have a particular concert venue that's your favorite place to play the chess?
Oh, man. I mean, it's a good question. I mean, there's so many, we've been so lucky to play so many different places over the years and continue to. I mean, the amphitheater outside of town where we first played with Slipknot back in Ozfest 99, we've been able to play here consistently, and I've played with both bands, with Mayhem, Knotfest Roadshow, the Family Values with Stone Sour. I mean, it's anytime you pull up and you see it, you know, if anybody who's been backstage at the amphitheater outside of town, you know, you go under that weird underpass and it kind of opens up into the loading dock. As soon as you get there, it's like, okay, catering's over here, the dressing rooms are in the back, I know how to get to the bathroom. So it's like you start recognizing these places and you remember all the shows that you've had there. And it just, I can't pick out one specific place because every time I pull up to a place that we've played many times, I just start triggering like all these great memories. Yeah. And so I'm just stoked that we still get to do this, you know, and it's largely because of you guys. So thank you very much for allowing us to be able to do that.
All right, this is between me and you. These guys aren't even here, right?
You guys ignore us.
Yeah. So, what is the one song that is your guilty pleasure that you absolutely love that most people are like, what?
Oh, I have no guilty pleasures. I don't give a fuck. I love ABBA. Yeah, I said ABBA. What was I just listening to the other day? It's like, I've been on this weird yacht rock kick for like a month. I mean, I went on, it was like, how weird can I fucking get? So I've been listening to like a lot of Michael McDonald shit, where it's just like, for real, like, I keep walking, I'll be walking through the house and I'll just start going, keep forgetting, we're not in love anymore. Just hitting all the weird high notes and shit. I don't know why, look, your heart knows better than your brain does the music that you like. Don't let anybody tell you the music that you can't like and can like, you know? And I learned that in high school and junior high. So my friends would all be just the psycho metalheads. It was like, and I was listening to that, but I was also listening to Poison. I was also listening to The Damned. I was also listening to The Cure and Depeche Mode and like all this crazy shit because fuck everybody. It's my music. I don't care what anybody says. If I can't enjoy the music that I listen to because I'm worried about what somebody else is going to say, then I shouldn't be able to listen to that music in the first place. You know, you should never feel bad about the music you listen to, even if an asshole like me tells you that that music is stupid, and I do it a lot. However, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I'm not the one who's listening to it. It's you guys. So don't let anybody else tell you the music that you can't fucking listen to. There.
All right, so do you have a particular favorite song that you guys do or that you do, either single or with the band, that's your just absolute
live?
Your favorite to perform?
I don't know, man. I mean, when it comes to Slipknot, Disaster Piece is my favorite to play live because it's got a little bit of everything, and it just, as soon as the intro starts, I just want to pull my head off and kick it in the fucking audience, just because I'm just like, oh, I'm ready to go. When it comes to Stone Sour, I don't know, man. Every time I start Through Glass, whether I'm doing it acoustically or with Stone Sour or on my solo thing, as soon as I start singing it, the entire audience just starts singing it, and it's the best feeling on the planet. Like this song that you wrote when you had food poisoning in 2005 in Gothenburg, Sweden, and all of a sudden all these people are singing that song at you, and like, this is so fucking weird, you know? It's just, and it will always be weird to me. It's just a rad feeling. Yeah, it's a cool feeling to feel that kind of come back at you. So it's hard to pick a favorite. There's certain ones that I really look forward to. There's certain songs that even though I've been singing them for over 20 years, it's the audience's reaction that keeps me into it, you know? And it's, you know, that will keep me playing those songs forever.
That's awesome. So, you know, listening to Slipknot, I was really impressed by your vocal range going from Slipknot to Stone Sour listening to.
When it works, it's great.
Yeah. Really
when it doesn't, it's a fucking train wreck. People are just like, ooh.
So I will say that the one Slipknot lyric though that has always stuck with me since the very first time I heard it. I mean,
God,
like,
this ought to be good.
No, I stopped the song. I hit it again. I had to listen to it again. The one lyric: "I haven't slept since I woke up and realized my whole life is a lie." What inspired that, and how the hell did you pull that right out of my head?
All right, I was very hungover, and as it's wont when you're an alcoholic, that song was probably at the very depths of my own self-loathing. But it was also one of those songs where I was like, I know people are gonna understand what it feels like to wake up and just, there's nothing but this bleak shit kind of staring back at you. And it's tough sometimes, man. You know, it's not always easy to find the rosy shit in life. You have to look a little harder and you can find it, but that's when the real gnarly poetry kind of starts to come out, you know? So that song was inspired by, you know, kind of hitting a wall. I had written everything for the Iowa album, and I had this last song to really kind of figure out. And for the longest time, it didn't even have a title. It was just called the Misfits Riff. And that was it, because the first chorus that always reminded us of, you know, Misfits Riff, you know? So I got to that, I was just like, God, I don't even know how to start this, you know? And I just started writing down the first things that came to my head, and I started with wrong, fucked, and overrated, and then I just kind of went from there. And then the second half filled in the blanks, you know. So it just came from some dark self-reflection and, you know, being honest with yourself. It's like, you're in a gnarly spot. If you stay there, you're gonna die.
Yeah, I've often said that music is the only thing that didn't abandon me when everything and everyone else did.
Right.
And that was one of those songs that, I mean, I was in a really dark place in life. I was like, holy shit, this is it. This is the truth right here.
Come with the honesty. It's not always, I mean, that's the thing about honesty. It's not always the shit that you want to hear. It's the shit you have to hear. You know?
And I think honestly, for me, that was what sold me on Slipknot. Was it was just raw, just in your face truth.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing that everybody got. That maybe there was that misconception about us in the beginning, was that it was all mask, it was all gimmick, image, whatever. It was the people who really understood it, who heard the music first, and then said, okay, there's something there. And then, like, slowly but surely, it's really kind of started to even out, which we appreciate. So it's always been art first, image second. I mean, you have to lead that way, or you're just gonna bury yourself.
All right, so I've seen you guys live several times, man, and I mean, it looks like you guys really fuck each other up on stage sometimes.
Well, we used to. We're a little too old for that now.
Right.
Clown sees me like coming at him, and he starts hucking sticks at me. He's like, I'm over 50, fucker. I'm like, no, I'm coming for you. This is for all those times you lit me on fire, you asshole.
All right, so let me ask one more question, then we'll turn it over to the audience and
Okay.
give equal time. So you started to talk about the masks a little bit. What was the inspiration of the masks? When did they come into play? At what point in your band were you guys like, you know what, we should put on some fucking masks?
Well, I'd love to be able to answer that question, but I joined the band when the masks were already in place. From what I'm told, and this is from Clown, so take it with a grain of salt or whatever, he was, before they were Slipknot, they were a band, God, what was the original name of that band? It was like, I can't remember what it was, but it was a one-word name. They did one gig without the masks, and they came back and they decided that something was missing. And Clown was very much into being primal and going with the emotion and really trying to feel the power of it, So he had that clown mask, that original clown mask, he had that since he was a kid. And he started wearing it while they were rehearsing. They hadn't even played a show yet. He was just wearing it in his basement, the fucking laundry's going and shit. His wife's walking by, like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And the whole band is like staring at it, right? And so Joey decided, well, okay, two can play that game. So he bought the original kind of pale white, almost like a doll mask. And he started wearing that, and they would just stare at each other. The guys in the band are like playing, they're like, I guess we're just gonna have to fill it in, So they just started wearing masks too. So that when I first saw them as Slipknot, I was a spectator. I was in the audience watching them. They came through the audience. They came through us and were pushing us out of the way. And they crawled on stage like this weird primordial ooze and just kind of filled in, and we were just like, and I've never had this moment ever in my life. I was staring at them. Now, mind you, up to this point, I'd been in Stone Sour for a while, I'd been doing music locally for, at that point, probably about 6-7 years. And I'd never had this moment in my life, and I was staring at them. I was just like, I'm gonna be the fucking singer in this band. I've never had that moment since, or ever, and like for real, a year later, they came and asked me to join them, which was fucking crazy, But that first show was so intense. I mean, they played blast beats and feedback for about 10 minutes before they played a song, and I was just like, it was fucking crazy, man. It was like if Obituary and the Melvins started a band together, and you were just like, this is the heaviest thing I've ever heard in my life. And they're all in masks, so it's just fucking with you. And we didn't have the coverall. They didn't have the coveralls yet. So Mick is in a hospital gown, but he has a G-string on. That's a big man, all right? It's not covering anything. It's just there. It's bumping against it. And I'm just like, I shouldn't be staring. This is really, it's fucking me up, man. Yeah. It was probably one of the best shows I've ever seen, man. So when they asked me to join later, I had a million ideas, and they were all horrible, and they slowly were like, Clown grabbed me, he's like, Taylor, we need to talk. This mask that you're designing is stupid. And I was like, I was like, what? It's a shopping bag. And he was like, no, we're not gonna let you do that. You look like an asshole. This is what we're gonna do. And it took me a minute to really understand the Slipknot way, which it did a lot of guys that came in after me. There's just a certain mindset that comes with Slipknot that you learn. It's not once you get past the imagery of it, there's such a great artistic mentality that goes into it that you have to learn. If you're not built for it, you have to learn it, and you have to feel it, and once you discover that, then you can find your way. And luckily I was able to do that.
That's awesome. So I was actually getting ready to turn over to the audience, and as I looked out, I realized that we had Grant Lovelace from Mark Society Tattoo, and we've got Adam Stoner from Roomwork Tattoo. So it makes me think one more question I gotta ask before I turn it over. Do you have a favorite tattoo of yours, and one in particular that you absolutely love more than any other? And are there any that you're planning on getting anytime soon?
Jesus Christ, man, easy. Save some for the children then. I got a bunch. Obviously my Heath Ledger is probably one of my favorites. Everything I have it's kind of tied to shit that I did, Like I have tattoos that are specifically for my kids. I have tattoos that are specifically for my wife. I have tattoos, I have tattoos for Paul. I have tattoos for both bands. It's just they're an expression of the things that interest me, Like I'm not gonna go on a weird tirade about, they reflect my soul. Fuck all that shit. Look, I've got Michael Jackson on my back. I do. Michael Jackson. It's the back of Off the Wall, man. It's right there. See it? See it, right? It's a great album. It's a great album. I love that album. Just saying, it's a great album.
The things you learn, the things of the day.
I wouldn't want no pedophile on me.
It's a great album.
Off the wall.
Out the Wall. It's no Thriller, but it's a damn good album.
I love it!
Yeah, the shit. It's definitely the best one. So yeah, when it comes to tats, it's all about the shit that you did, You have to get the stuff that you did. You can have stuff that is reflective and all that hippie shit, but if you don't have stuff that you can look at and go, fuck, that's really cool, then what's the fucking point,
All right, so we're going to go to the audience. We're going to start right out on this side here. Sam, if you want to grab the mic over there. And let's go right out here towards the middle.
Hey, I was wondering, can you speak about the difference between recording your lyrics in the studio, having to do it over and over again versus live?
Oh, that's a good question, man. When it comes to recording, for me, it's about the initial performance, because obviously you're talking about something that's forever, so you want that initial blast to be the most important. You want that to be the thing that they judge your later performances off of, man. And I'm one of those guys that I like to keep that performance from the album in the live set, as much as I can. I'm not one of the yodelers that just tries to get all weird and fancy and take it away from what the song was supposed to be. I just try to keep it there because I know that's what the audience is hearing in their head, So for me, it's about pitch, obviously. It's about the emotion behind it, and it's about, I try to enunciate as much as possible. I'm not very good at it because I've had a lot of, like Dave Bottrell, who was the producer on the House of Golden Bones albums, fucking roasted me over, he's just like, I can't understand what you're saying. And I'm just like, yeah, but can you feel it? He's like, I don't give a shit about feeling. He's like, you sound like you're going, and I was just like, God damn it. So he made me overpronounce everything. It just was such a pain in the ass. But it came out great, So it's like when I hear those albums, I immediately go back to the fact that he was just kind of cracking the whip on me, trying to get me to, really dial it in. And I've taken that since. So for me, every album's kind of a learning curve anyway. And I just try to remember everything that I've done, also listen to the new producer and try to find new ways to do whatever. So that's really what it comes down to when you're recording. When you're live, you're reacting to an audience that's right there, you know? Like when you're recording in a studio, you're imagining how people are gonna react, or you're just kind of doing your thing, you know? When you're live, the critics are right there, and if you're not into it, they will let you know harshly, you know? So you just kind of have to ape it up, you know, and try to aim for that weird, imperfect perfection, you know?
All right. Next question right here in front.
I got 3 of your books. I don't have America 51. I
Right.
read the last one. I see that you do have a Hunter S. Thompson tattoo. Was
Yeah.
he a huge influence on your writing? And could you by chance just tell my wife Jody hi?
Oh, hi Jody. I see. Are you FaceTiming or you Instagram Live? Okay, there you go. Hi, how are you? Good.
Favorite Hunter S. Thompson book?
My favorite Hunter S. Thompson book is probably The Great Shark Hunt, which is the book that he did in '72 when he was following the campaign trail. And it's one of the ones that not a lot of people talk about, largely because it was very era specific. So when you read it, you really have to understand the politics that were going on at the time, what was happening, and then obviously this was right before Watergate, so nothing had really happened yet. So it was him following Nixon. He was also following all of the other candidates on the Democratic side, like Goldwater and like all those other guys. And it's coming from almost an antiquated political standpoint at this point, you know? And it's fascinating to read because it's almost like they're talking about another world, you know? If you look at it like today, the way we deal with the news and with media and everything has shaped so much of the way that we deal with politics that to read a book like that now to juxtapose it against today's modern views is so almost wholesome in a weird way. And it makes you look at things like Watergate and go, God, would that even be a scandal today? You know, after all the stuff that both political parties have done over the years. It's interesting, you know, and that tells you how, you know, history moves on. We evolve or devolve, I'm not really sure. But he's like one of my biggest influences when it comes to that because he just throws everything at the wall. And it's not so much about what's going on, it's about how he perceives it, you know, that gonzo journalism where he's the story, not what's going on, you know. And I tried to do that, but from a different perspective. I would set the tone of what I was trying to talk about, and then I would put it in an example by framing it against a story that happened to me. And I thought that would be a better way than trying to make the story about me. I try to make the point the story, and then show how it affected me from that mindset. Cool. No worries.
Hey, how about right here in the middle?
First off, I just want to let you know that I was a fan of the song Duality. That song's my alarm clock for a long time, since getting up after a long drunken night in college. And I just want to know, what was the concept behind that song originally?
Duality is thank you for that, by the way. I'm glad my weird voice wakes you up every morning. It's not creepy at all. That song kind of deals with, I mean, the clues in the title. It's about, you know, duality is about obviously the yin and the yang and the things that, you know, the weird 360 issues that we all kind of have in our lives, you know. No matter how good things are, there's always the bad. No matter how bad things are, there's always the good. So it's trying to find that balance, and it's actually kind of about the headache that can come on when you're trying to get through the stress, the craziness, the weird, you know? And that's where the chorus comes from. As I push my fingers in my eyes, is this. If you've ever done this, this is what this is about right here. It's just like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is fucking bullshit. That's what that song is, you know? And it's just about trying to find some peace in the chaos.
And also, too, growing up in the 80s, what was your biggest influence on music then?
Oh, Weird Al Yankovic.
Alright, so we've got one straight behind you in the back there, lady with the red hair.
So, I went to school with Jeremy Spencer, Heidi from Five Finger Death Punch, which I
Right.
love. So that was my first, we're gonna say death metal, but I don't believe what it is, but I saw you for the first time because I've never heard, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with you. And now here I come here, and Corey Taylor. I'm a fan of now Corey Taylor. Well, I told my friend, Jeremy, I said, yeah, I'm going to Days of the Dead, you know, in Indy, and he went to Vegas.
Right.
Yeah, and he says, man, you're just gonna love Corey Taylor. His
Well, he lied to
candle-
you. I mean,
yeah.
honestly.
I mean, so I can't wait to tell him you were true. You were true, Ed. And dude, I love your tattoo.
Well, thank you. That's the weirdest question I've ever heard.
I just want to say thank you, and you are my weight loss, my anger management, and you are my alarm clock.
Oh, well, there you go. That's the great triumvirate, man. I mean, I've hit all corners of the pyramid. You're very welcome.
Looks
Thank
like
you.
you're giving Folgers some competition.
I know, dude. Best part of waking up.
Alright, stand right there in the front row, please, sir.
Hi, my favorite Slipknot song is Purity.
Okay.
I was wondering the story as to why it was pulled from the self-titled record originally.
That's a very weird story. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the first pressing of the very first Slipknot album had 2 tracks on it, Frail Limb Nursery and Purity. Now, it was written about, it was inspired by a story that we had found online about a girl named Purity Knight. And we thought it was a true story. I mean, this was like true crime before there was like Netflix, basically. So you would go online, you would find all these websites, and you would, you know, kind of read all these investigations. It turned out to be something that somebody had invented. It was written. This was an actress. She was still alive. Like, it was all this crazy shit. But we were so affected by it that I actually rewrote the lyrics for a song called Despise, and I wrote it specifically about, you know, stuff like that, which is why I used to announce it by saying this is about a girl in a box. Well, the people the reason we had to take Frail Limb Nursery off is because we used samples from that website, and the author and the director, the guy who recorded it and put it together, sued us. So we took it off. We bought the rights to use Purity, but in the interim, we had to take that off and we put on Me Inside instead. So we were coming from a very, we were coming from an honest place, you know. Like we had no idea. Had we known, we would have asked permission first. But we thought these were real samples from real people, so we used them, you know. So it was unfortunate, but we got the song back, and that was the main thing, you know.
All right, stand straight back here in the middle, please.
So we talked a little bit yesterday about your book being what you were the most proud of.
Right.
Out of all of the books that you've written so far, do you have a favorite and why?
Man, that was a good question. I mean, I'm pretty stoked about all 4, you know. Probably 7 Deadly Sins, just for the fact that it was my first, you know. I mean, I didn't think I'd get to write that one. I mean, who wants to listen to this guy babble this much? Obviously, other than you guys, which, you know, I'm still trying to figure out.
It takes a lot of people to make the world go round.
Writing a book was something that I always wanted to do, you know, and I learned from every book after that how to kind of perfect it, quote unquote, or just hone in, you know, fine tune it, you know. But, ooh, excuse me, I don't remember eating that. That first book was such a weird journey for me because I'd never done it before. I'd written a monthly column for a magazine called Rock Sound out of the UK. I'd done that, up until that point, I'd done that for about 10 years. And I stopped after 15. But it kind of trained me to deal with word count and to deal with kind of getting to the point. So I kind of used that as my soundboard. But now, here I had this opportunity to kind of just vent and rant and write and kind of go off on weird tangents, but try to rein them in and do it inside of a 70 to 100,000 word count, which my brain can't even handle, you know? So I was just like, okay, then I would just go. So it took me about 2 months to write it, technically, because I would start each chapter, but then I would split, you know, I didn't do it linear. I would kind of pop in, if I had ideas or weird things or stories that I wanted to tell, I would jump in to different chapters out of context and just kind of write them, you know. And once I figured out that I could do that, it was almost free form, and it just kind of did itself, you know. And then once I felt like I had a good, basically middle, I went back and I did the beginning and I did the end, which is such a backwards way to write. Is, you know, it's like I'm just going to do the middle and then I'll give the intro and then I'll end it. But it worked. It worked for me. So the one thing I learned writing that first book is that my sentences sucked, like for real. And I learned that by doing the audio version of the book, reading my own book. A, one of the most boring things on the fucking planet. And B, it taught me that it's like, okay, I've got this one paragraph, but it's not really a paragraph, it's one sentence that just won't, and I can't find breaks in it to take a breath. And I'm like, I'm the biggest idiot on the fucking planet. What the hell's wrong with me? So that taught me to shorten them and get more to the point instead of expounding and being all poetic and all that shit. But that, it all started with that book, you know, and it was because of that book that I got to do 3 more. And it's because of that book that, you know, people are asking me when I'm going to do the 5th, which I honestly don't know because it's such it's an arduous process to do. But I've got one that I'm percolating, so we'll see if I get around to it.
Thank you.
All right, let's go for a question over here on this side here. And right here up front.
So Corey, long time.
How you doing, man? All
2
right.
decades. Still remember being a little kid waiting for my Disaster Pieces DVD to come in.
Thanks for making me feel super old, bro. Appreciate it.
But this is gonna make you feel a little more old. Make, Feed, Kill, Repeat.
Right.
How was that period between there and the self-titled album, which blew up, and how was that like touring period dealing with 9 guys, Sid and Clown all fighting crime?
Right. The weird thing is I'm not on Make, Feed, Kill, Repeat. That's Andy, the original singer. But I was basically there because we all came up in the scene together. So we were all hanging out. And I remember the night, I mean, Andy was still in the band when I joined. He technically was backups and percussion. So he went from a lead singing position to doing that. It was one of the reasons why he left. He left in a really weird way. Like he quit on stage in the middle of one of our shows and said it on the mic, said it to all the fans, and it kind of left me in this really weird position where I didn't know what to do. And I ran up to him after the show. I was like, dude, how do we fix this? How do I make this, how do we make this okay? It's like, I had no idea that you felt this way. And he goes, it's not you, it's the other guys in the band. It has nothing to do with you. It's like, if anything, it's like it made it okay for me to leave knowing that you were there, And he and I are still friends today, He went on to do a couple of different bands, actually. A band called Pain Face out of Des Moines. I think they still gig. He's a really great death metal singer. So having that album, learning it and listening to it, we actually re-recorded a bunch of that stuff with me singing that stuff. But it was before I rewrote the lyrics for it, so it didn't feel genuine to me, Like this was stuff that Andy had written and not me. So it came from a place that it wasn't passionate for me, So we slowly moved away from that to reworking certain songs, but then just writing like different music, Spit It Out, we actually started working on while he was still in the band. And we were able to kind of put it together in this really cool way. And then when he split, we just finished it off. Wait and Bleed was written because I wrote the chorus. They were like, do you have a melody line or something that you can do? So I sat down and I wrote the chorus, and we wrote that song around that chorus. Surfacing happened because Mick was playing around with his pedal, and he started doing like, that weird fucking shit, and I mean, it just all kind of started to go in this more aggressive direction, which was what we wanted to do. We wanted to take all of these elements that we loved and just kind of try to create this hybrid, weird sound. Of all the old songs, there's one that I really want us to re-record someday, and it's Bitch Slap Do Nothing, because it's such a crazy amalgam of blasts and jazz, and it's just such a cool song, And I know that if we ever got the chance to do it, we would just destroy it, especially with a modern production of it, So it's been cool to see where the band came from as a fan, and then to be a part of the evolution of the band, But as far as touring, man, dude, I mean, I can remember sleeping on our equipment in like 2 vans, and having my face like next to the bag. We kept all the masks in, so it's basically like waking up next to a body. It's just like, whoa. And that'll make you throw up, especially, clown stuff. Because there's so many fluids in it. It's gross. All right, you think I'm kidding? The stuff that he would throw around on that stage was disgusting. So yeah, man, I mean, we would drive for hours at a time. There were times, we couldn't afford food, we couldn't afford hotel rooms. We all just kind of sacked out. We got used to bringing sleeping bags, because we knew half the time, it was like, growing up in Iowa, you would go camping and shit. We would just do that. And I was just like, is this it? Is this how we're doing it? But you learn to treasure those moments, man, because if you forget that shit, you forget where you came from.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, go straight in.
Of all the albums that you've been on, what do you think is your ultimate masterpiece?
Oh man, I don't know. I love all the albums in my own way. I feel like I have glimpses of performances that I'm really, really proud of. I think every album has one moment where I'm really stoked that it happened, or that I pulled it off. But I don't know if I have that ultimate yet. I mean, you guys tell me if I've done that. For me, maybe that's the thing that kind of keeps me going, is that I feel like I haven't done it yet, I haven't reached it yet. I mean, and it doesn't help that I'm such a scatterbrain, and I've got like so many different interests that I want to do, between doing an acoustic album, doing a jazz album, like doing all that stuff. There's so many different things that I want to do that I can't really hone in on one thing that I can say is the ultimate, you know? I think to me, the ultimate is the fact that I still get to do this after this many years, you know? I mean, most of the bands that we came up with are gone, or they're on our level. So it's weird, you know? Like, we're one of the few bands that have been able to take that modern start and create a 20+ year career, which, I mean, I'm so grateful for, you know? I mean, I would have been stoked to have 10 years and then retire and go back to the porn shop or something, you know? So just the fact that I get to do this is a fucking gift, you know? So thank you guys for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we got Summer and Jamie from the Dolls of Horror podcast right here.
Okay, shut up.
I'm gonna give them a quick shameless plug, but I'm also saying go ahead and give them the mic. I know they've got a couple questions.
Okay.
I do actually have some.
Hey.
Hi.
So we actually took some listener questions
Okay.
for our podcast, and say something fun while I find them.
She's like,
How have you been enjoying the con?
Yes.
It's been great. I mean, everybody's been rad, man. I've been able to hang out with everybody and talk, and you know, I mean, God, I said this to somebody, but I was like, this is our Christmas, you know, like walking around and seeing all this stuff. It's like, I'm gonna spend $1 million on that stuff.
Right. Tell me about
Like
it.
the great eater of cash. That's what they should call this, is like days of the debt. Because I just
100%. So we know
buying
it.
shit and I just can't stop.
You're
know?
not alone.
Right.
You're among friends. Right?
yeah, that's why I feel like I'm lucky that I'm stuck behind this board all the time. I actually can't get up there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so Brenda asked, you've covered so many songs with So Sour and your solo Jump for Your Kidnap Man. Is there any songs still left to cover, and is there anything outside of your comfort zone that you want to cover? Which you kind of just answered a little bit
Yeah,
with
well,
the jazz stuff. But.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some stuff. I mean, there's no shortage of songs that I would love to cover. I think we did a bunch of stuff for my solo album with my solo band for CMFT that hasn't been released yet. We did a cover of On the Dark Side by John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. I love that song. We played it live, and it's just, it pops so well. It's a great tune. We did a cover of All This and More by the Dead Boys. We did Got to Choose by Kiss. And we just did a really cool handful of tunes. We got a list of stuff that we're gonna do for the solo, for the next, for CMF2 actually, just for like B-side stuff. And one of which is probably gonna be Don't Tell Me You Love Me by Night Ranger, which is a great fucking rock. Yeah, I mean, that's
gonna be great.
It's a very underrated tune too, because some of the guitar work on there is so rad. It's very underappreciated. So there's a bunch of stuff that I want to do. But as long as I've still got the passion for it, I'll just keep doing it, you know?
Yeah. We got another one here. As much as people enjoy horror movies, there's always one that seems to scar them. Which one was yours?
Jaws.
Oh,
It's, to this day, I'll take the kids to the beach, I won't go in. I'm like, I'll burn, I don't care. You go, I even have trouble getting in a pool, because I was like, they can get in here.
Yeah, you gotta check,
And I know, listen, I've watched Shark Week, I read all, I've seen it all. I know, they don't like the taste of us. They're only biting us because they think we're a seal. They only did, like, fuck you. It's still this thing that I can't run from that's going to eat me. You can kiss my entire ass. I'm not, no.
We have one more if we could. This one's from Mo, and he asks, or he says rather, that he loves your Christmas song. Yes. And it's a holiday tradition for many people around the holiday times. Are there any hopes for another Christmas song? Maybe a whole Christmas album? Or maybe a Halloween song, because, you know, we need more Halloween in our lives.
True,
right?
true. I'd totally do a Halloween song. I don't
And
know
what might that sound like?
Dude, I mean, I would try to make that a nightmare piece, let's put it that way. As far as like another Christmas song, I probably wouldn't do one. I mean, the only reason I wrote that was to kind of take the piss out of my friends, because my house used to be the house that everybody would come to get away from their families for Christmas. They were just like, I can't deal with these fucking crazy people. So they would come and they would just sit at my table and bitch about Christmas the entire time. And here I am, I love Christmas. I love it. You know, I'm stoked, like hanging out with my friends and stuff. And so I wrote that, like dedicated to them. And the reason I recorded it is because it was all the money went to charity. We were able to raise money for the Teenage Cancer Trust. And thank you. No, at this point, I think we raised like $60,000 for it, which was rad. That was, I mean, that's going back a little ways, but it was cool. You know, and that was really the only reason that I did it, you know. I was like, I wasn't looking to get in on that niche, you know. Like I wasn't gonna do like a whole album like Twisted Sister. But at the same time, I think it's very funny that you can take "Oh Come Ye All Ye Faithful" and put it over "We're Not Gonna Take It." That is fucking comedy to me. I love that.
Well, you know that was like a Broadway show situation.
I know, which
so
is
how about a
crazy.
slip on Broadway show,
He'll
man?
find a way. It's like, you're a maniac, dude. He's so rad though. So yeah, I mean, if I get it in my head, maybe I would do like this crazy. Like if I did a Halloween one, though, it'd be the gnarliest. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, I would
yes,
find
you know,
a way
we
to-
all hear that.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be Nightmare Before Christmas. It would be like gnarly, like nails on a chalkboard.
We want to hear it? Yes, please.
All right, fine. I'm going.
We've spoken.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Harry.
You.
All right. How about right here, Sam?
So we've talked about favorite lyrics and things like that, either
Yeah.
your work or others. Is there a certain riff or breakdown that just finds your groove, your energy, and just gets you pumped around it?
Of mine or like anybody else's?
Your choice.
Oh man.
Or both.
God, I mean, there's so many rap riffs that especially when I'm working out, I've got like specific playlists that I go to if I'm just not in the mood, but I need to power through it. My wife made me a massive Gojira fan, so I have an entire Gojira playlist. I give her all the props because I mean I toured with them, but I never really sat down and like explored their music, and she just went, and she's like, sit your ass down, we're gonna fucking listen to this. And I was just like, I never knew music about whales could be that heavy, you know? And he's talking about whales a lot, like he just keeps bringing the whales up. I was just like, the whales! I'm like, fuck yes, dude! So I'll be in my gym, and it's the entire song of the heaviest element in the universe is so incredibly fucking heavy that it makes me just want to run through walls and just chase people with axes and shit. You're just like, yeah, it's crazy. So that's the one that kind of gets me going. So that starts the playlist, and then from there it just gets incredibly heavy from there. And by the time I'm done, I'm like, I hurt, but I feel so good,
Yeah, you can't really go wrong with too many of the Gojira songs.
Dude.
Everything they do, esoteric surgery is just absolutely
Right.
A sight to behold. I mean, how do you
L'Enfant Sauvage is so and I love the dirty stuff that's got like the groove to it. They're calculator metal, but they're not, like it's like there's some of those time signatures where you're like, how they even come up with that?
Those guys are all very classically trained musicians.
Right.
I mean, they could go play in symphonies anywhere in the world if they wanted. And they're like,
And he's got
"Oh,
such a
fuck,
great
we're gonna
voice
grind
too,
it out."
man. His voice is so killer, and it's solid live too, which is all the respect to him.
And on top of that, they're awesomely stellar guys.
Right, yeah,
Every
super
one of them
cool.
are great dudes. They're
Yeah.
like, hey man, you want some pizza?
They brought, when we were touring with them, they actually brought my son and Clown's son up like behind the stage to watch them play. They were both like super fans, and just watching them watch those guys was really, really cool, Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are definitely one of my favorites. Okay, so let me ask this, Corey. Wife takes the kids off to the zoo for the day, you're at the home chilling, the phone's off, nobody's bothering you, you got the whole day to yourself. What do you do? Do you play video games, you hanging out, you work in the yard? What do you do for Corey time?
Oh man, what do I do? I don't even know. I'm actually asking my wife because there's so many different things that what? I do watch a lot of YouTube. I play piano. Like I play piano every day. I actually taught myself how to play. It took me 4 years. I taught myself how to play specifically so I could write a song for her and record it. So that's actually me playing piano on home on the album. It was very important for me to be able to do it myself. You know, like I didn't want to. There's just a different emotion that comes when it's you playing it. You know. I do that, I play a lot of guitar, I write a lot of stuff, and I'm constantly sending videos of myself playing riffs to the guys that I'm in bands with. This is like punishing them with like just a weird outfit and me like setting the phone. I was like, okay, check this out. 1, 2, 3, and I just kind of send that crap off. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty boring, dude. I drink coffee, scratch my nuts, you know.
So hey guys in the audience, did you see how smart this dude was? I'm like, you got a day off with nothing to do, what do you do? First thing he did was look at the wife and go, what's on the list, honey?
Yeah. Hey, we do lists, you know. She and I we keep the house clean. We help each other out, you know. It's important, you know, especially when you're married and you dig the person, you do stuff together, and yeah, we just did it. I'll even go shopping with her, which I hate shopping, but I do anything with her because I just like being with her. So.
If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
That's right.
I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. I grew up in a household where there was a plaque that said, "Dad is boss, as everyone knows, but what mom says always goes." I don't know how that works. All right, we have any more audience questions? Right here in front.
Hi.
Hello.
You're filming. Don't fuck it up.
Okay. Well, I'm not filming yet.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm filming now.
And go.
Okay, I just want to start off with, can you say hello to my boss, Anna?
Anna? Hi, boss Anna.
Thank you.
Very well.
And I discovered your music at a very young age, and I was self-harming at the time. And it made me feel like someone else was feeling the anger and pain inside of me, and I just want to say thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Glad that was in the past as well. I mean, that's a tough thing. Is your
I'm
mom?
her mother, yes,
Oh, right
and it
on.
was very, very bad.
Yeah. You know what? I was doing that actually before it was really known. You know, like one of the worst days of my life. It's actually one of the reasons why I have so many tattoos on this arm. Because I have a lot of scars here that I covered up, and it was something that you couldn't explain to people. It's like, I'm not trying to kill myself. I'm trying to just hit the pressure valve. I'm trying to just feel something other than what I'm feeling.
Well, it took us a while to find out she was.
Right.
Because she would say that pain took away the pain that she was feeling inside.
Right, exactly.
And she was doing on her thighs, so nobody ever knew.
And it's tough, you know, it's tough. And I talked to a lot of people who went through it, you know. I had people in my family who did it. I have a lot of friends who had done it. And I've actually had people tell me that my music has helped them stop doing that. So I really appreciate that. And it's a heavy thing. And it's, you know, just know that you're not alone, okay? Anybody who does that, anybody who's ever been through that, just know that it is not isolated. We all feel it. Some of us feel that shit a lot stronger than other people. And I'm not demeaning the way people feel it. It's just an intense feeling. So the fact that you're healthy, the fact that you're here, that makes me very happy. So and I mean that for everybody. You know, it can be very lonely sometimes, but you're not alone, okay?
So it looks like we got time for maybe one more question. I'll tell you what, let's go right back here and then back on right nice Nirvana shirt.
Okay, so the main thing I was wondering, what inspired you to start music? Like, why did you start it? Nothing is bad because I love your music, but yeah.
It was the one thing that I found that I was good at. You know, I felt really defective when I was a kid. You know, I just felt like I wasn't wired the way most people are, you know. I tried sports. I was pretty good at baseball, but like it didn't hold my attention. I just kind of liked the stuff that I was into. I liked writing, but I didn't realize that I had a talent for it until I was hanging out with my cousin, and I just started singing one day, you know. And you know, I've told the story about how she kind of drugged me out and made me sing for all my aunts and uncles and my grandma, and like I said, I've told that a million times, but that moment was really the moment where I felt like, oh, this is something that is good. This is something that I'm good at. This is something that I can do. It's something that makes me feel good. And I've never felt that before, you know, like I've never felt that. And I didn't realize that I had a knack for picking up music or learning how to play music until much later. Like, you know, because I grew up poor, so I didn't have a lot of like ways to try and do that. It's like I had a friend who had a guitar, and I just picked it up and I started messing around with it. And it wasn't until it took me a long time to do this, which tells you how poor we were. I bought a guitar from a friend of mine for $20, but it took me months to raise that much to be able to buy it from this guy, you know. But once I did, that was all I did. Like I just sat and I played and I watched other people play and I taught myself by ear. And that was the start of everything. That was the start of me writing songs. That was the start of me playing stuff and learning how to play and sing, which was the whole reason that I learned how to play in the first place. It's the only thing that has ever made me feel special, you know? And I mean, maybe that's why I still feel good about it. Maybe that's the reason that I still do it, is because it's the one thing that has been my constant through life. You know, it's been the one thing that has remained true, that has never changed, that has never become what I do because of any other different reason other than because I love doing it and I love the feeling that I get when I do it, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's just been the one thing that's always been with me, you know. You're welcome.
So do you still have the $20 guitar?
No, it was stolen from a fucking asshole. It was a rad. It was a Cort Les Paul copy, and my mom actually, one of the cool things my mom ever did, she painted Vic Rattlehead on it, which was the mascot for Megadeth, you know, the guy with the thing, the chains and the skull. And I was just like, this is the coolest thing. And then this fucking asshole stole it and sold it for drugs. Yeah, that was cool. I never saw it again, but oh god, if I could find that, it'd be so rad.
If anybody out there is in a pawn shop, you come across a copy of a Les Paul with Big Rattlehead painted on it, you know what to do.
That shit's firewood by now. Like, there's no way. I mean, that was 30 years ago. There's no way that I would ever see that thing again. Had 4 strings on it, you know? I mean, at that point, it was just like, what's even the point of fucking stealing it, you know?
Ladies and gentlemen, please do me a favor. Make sure you stop by Corey's table. We'll get some autographed merchandise.
Oh, I've seen most of these guys already. They've all.
All right, then stop by Corey's table and say hi to Sam.
There you go. Yeah, Samantha Osborne, ladies and gentlemen. She's the one that drugged me into this shit.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for coming out, guys. Danielle Harrison's panel has actually been canceled, so we're going to be moving on to the Sky and Michael panel at 3 o'clock. So this room's going to be empty for about the next hour. But do me a favor, put your hands together, Mr. Corey Taylor.